If you let it turn violent, you do not want to do that in Brevard County. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at.
Hello folks, welcome to Willie Doki Stories, where we break down the truth behind what's really happening in America. No fluffs, no sugarcoating. And today, things are getting real. America has just been thrown into what we call civil rights state of emergency. But here's the thing. Nobody's really talking about it the way it should. It's not trending. It's not in the front page of the newspapers the way it should be. And yet, the science is everywhere. So, what does this really actually mean? And why should you care? Hey folks, stick around because this might be the most important video I've ever made. Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
We have some basically really hard to understand and terrible news. Trump administration just ended a federal school desegregation order that has been in place for nearly 60 years. The order was originally put in place back in 1966 to force racist school districts in the South to desegregate. But this week, the Justice Department under Trump officially canceled that order. Plaque Mines Parish, Louisiana. The reason? They say the order is outdated and a burden on local schools. Trump's Assistant Attorney General Harmet Dillon called it a correction of historical wrong. Civil rights experts and education advocates are sounding the alarms. They say that when federal desegregation orders are lifted, school districts often start resegregating, which means Black and Latino kids get stuck in underfunded, under-resourced schools again. Right now, over 130 school districts, mostly in the South, are still under federal desegregation orders. This could be the first of many to be rolled back. And this move is part of a much bigger pattern. Trump's team is also trying to end civil rights oversight on police reform, voting rights, LGBTQ+ protections, and more. So why end this now? If history is an indication, it's not because equality has been achieved, it's because federal protection is being intentionally dismantled.
We should probably talk about the change in tone in the United States generally and the change in tone on this page. My job is to represent clients in a court of law and enforce the rules that we have in our legal system. All of that is political. The judges we put on the bench, the legislatures we put to write the rules, the executives we elect to enforce those rules. Every right you have at work is necessarily political. And those labor rights are tied to your civil rights. But the United States is currently at a crossroads, one I never expected to see in my lifetime. We have a president who is openly hostile to the U.S. Constitution. He is backed by a political party that is hostile to the Constitution. They are funded by the world's richest man, who is also hostile to the Constitution. I do not want to live in this timeline, but it's where fate has put us. We are the generation that must face America's greatest constitutional crisis yet. As a lawyer who represents working class Americans, who stands up for the little guy, who values our constitutional freedoms and wants you to have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness without an all-powerful dictator controlling every aspect of your life, it is my obligation to speak up. I would much rather make little videos about how to email HR, and I'll continue to do that because I care about you and I want you to have a good life. But as Elon Musk has said, we are at a fork in the road. One day I will be an old, frail man, and I will have to look at my grandchildren. And when they asked what I did in this time of great crisis and uncertainty, I will be able to look them in the eye and say, I was only one man. I didn't have a lot of money or power, but I did what I could, and I stood up for what was right. I hope that those of you who've chosen to follow this page can stick with me on that. And I promise to keep the tone as light as possible.
We have some breaking news. A federal judge just confirmed that ICE has been secretly detaining migrants in a basement holding cell inside of the federal building in Los Angeles. This facility, called B18, was described in court as windowless, crowded, and deprived of basic human needs. Detainees were held for hours, for even days, without food, water, or a place to sit. And most critically without access to a lawyer or a phone. Some of the people detained were U.S. citizens, others were lawful residents, or still waiting for their immigration hearing. None were given due process. The courts found that ICE was making what they called a roving arrest based on nothing more than race, accent, or job type. Home Depot parking lots, bus stops, construction sites, these were their target zones. The judge ruled that this violates the Constitution, both the 4th and 5th Amendments, and she issued a temporary restraining order that blocks these raids and demands immediate legal access for anyone detained in B18. This is a big deal. It's about more than just, a basement. It's about power, accountability, and the rights guaranteed to everyone in this country under our laws. And this court just put ICE on notice.
You guys ever read about something and afterwards you just sit there stunned thinking, there is no way that this is happening in America? Because what ICE just did in Oklahoma City, this is the stuff of authoritarian nightmares. This is what we have been warning about. So I'm sure you guys by now have heard that U.S. citizens, a family, mother and her 3 daughters, were raided by ICE, FBI, and reportedly the U.S. Marshals. 20 agents stormed their home at dawn, guns drawn, forced them outside in their underwear, confiscated their phones and laptops, and took their life savings. And get this, they weren't even the people that they were looking for. The warrant was for a previous tenant. Can you guys even imagine being woken up by armed agents in your own home, treated like a criminal in your own country while your daughters are humiliated on the lawn for nothing? This wasn't law enforcement. This was terrorizing citizens. And ICE didn't even have the decency to leave a contact number or say when or if they'd ever get their property back. And before one of you maggots starts with the whole, well, they must have done something excuse, no, they are U.S. citizens. This is supposed to be a nation of rights and protections. Instead, we're watching our government roll up to innocent people's homes like it's Pinochet's Chile or Cold War East Germany, where wrong address was just collateral damage. This isn't some isolated accident either. This happened under Operation Guardian, a new federal immigration crackdown that Oklahoma signed onto. When states partner with unchecked federal power, innocent people will get hurt. And now it's not even immigrants being brutalized, it's citizens. This is how fascism creeps in, quietly, one mistake at a time. You want to know how democracies die? It's not with tanks in the street, but with agencies kicking down doors and saying, oops, afterwards, like it's not a big deal. This isn't safety. This is state-sponsored trauma. And if you're not outraged yet, you're not paying attention or you have no soul. So if you have...
Hey folks, welcome back to Lidoki Stories. And recently, major civil rights groups and leaders raised the alarm, saying blacks are marginalized, communities are under systematic attack, politically, economically, and socially. They didn't just say it. It's getting bad. They literally declared a state of emergency. But here's what's scary. They're not wrong. Voter suppression is rising. Hate crimes are climbing. School books are being banned. You can just imagine. History is being erased in real time. I've seen this before, not just in America, but in history. It always starts with a small change like this. Believe me, laws that sound reasonable, news that get banned, rights that are slowly rolled back. Then, one day, you wake up and find freedom of the people has disappeared. And the worst part is most people don't even know it's happening. This isn't just about race or politics. This is about power. Who has it and who's losing it? And who's willing to rewrite the rules to keep it? Fourth, if this can't affect you, think again. Cause what starts with one community never stops there. This is about your voice, your vote, and your future.